Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the CKC channel. I'm your host, Feeder Master Calvin Klaassen, and welcome to another episode of Reflection Season 2. So, yes, this evening we have a quite a lovely episode, very special indeed. I'm sure we've all watched the African Chess Championships happen just about a week or two ago, and I think everybody's been waiting to chat to our guest this evening. So if you are new to the channel, don't forget to press the follow button, and feel free to throw in your questions in the chat box for our special guest. We will try to handle as much questions as we can. First come, first serve, guys. So don't leave your questions up until the last moment. Thanks to all the new followers, by the way. And just welcome to everyone. I will hand over to our host pretty soon. Of course, our host, Dr. Bouah. He is, of course, an Olympiad player, chess organizer, captain, and also most recently book writer or author. So he will be doing the proper introduction to our, let's call it African chess queen, newly crowned African chess queen. So I will hand it over to Dr. Bouah to do the proper introduction. Oh yeah, and of course she's also one half of the famous hashtag chess channel on Twitch, so you should also check that out. So I'm gonna hand over to Dr. Bouah. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Calvin, and good evening, viewers. Yes, indeed, we've got a very special guest tonight. We've moved our show from Tuesday to Thursday to make sure that we can get our guest who's just arrived back from Malawi, where she conquered the African Women's Chess Championship. And our guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is Women International Master and also now WGM elect, Jessie February. Jessie, welcome to the Reflection Show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a huge honor.
Jessie, thank you very much also for agreeing to come on. We know that you've just arrived back a few days ago and you were hectically back at work. But Jessie, how does it feel to be the African women's chess champion?
I think it's yet to sink in. A lot of people have been asking me this question over the past week. And to be honest, when I went in to play the tournament, I thought the event was only going to be a stepping stone towards, of course, eventually winning the event. I didn't think it was going to happen immediately, but yeah, with some luck and a little bit of prep, I think it was enough. So it was nice. Yeah.
No, Jessie, but congratulations again. And I'm gonna come back to the African Championship, but I'm first wanting to go back a decade or so ago, if you will allow me. Jessie, when did it all start? Who taught you chess and when did you play your first tournament?
My mom taught me how to play when I was 7. When I was 8, I played in my first tournament in Port Elizabeth. And then I started playing for the province, Eastern Cape. And for 10 years after that, I was just a part of the youth, the Eastern Cape team. And I got my SA colors for the first time when I was 17. And I traveled to the Commonwealth Chess Championship, my first abroad trip in Scotland, Glasgow, Scotland. But to be honest, I still remember it was 2000 and it was in Kimberley, 2000 and the end of 2014, the beginning of 2015.
Sure.
Now, yeah, it was nationals, and our team actually came tied first with Joburg Metro. And I remember representing the Eastern Cape team on board 1. And I got a board prize as well. So it was a really great tournament for me. And after that, I played in the inter-region event. And I believe that was our first interaction, Dr. Bouah. In the inter-region event, I played against Bahuddin,
Mohammed
Shabir.
Shabir.
Yes,
Shabir.
no, Shabir. And
Right.
in that game, I actually won. I won. And I'm pretty sure from that game, that was my first time appearing in your reflections as well. And it was a big deal for me. I remember you coming up to me and saying like, congratulations and like, keep it up and all the rest. And I think that was also the first time and the first day ever that Watu spoke to me. And I felt recognized. And I was really, really happy that day. And Watu was like, "Oh, you had a good game. Keep working, keep working." And I was like, "Okay, I'll do that." And that, I think that moment has always played back in my
Jesse,
head. Hmm.
but Jesse, if you beat Shabir on that day, which I recall, then you
Yes.
must have cost Western Province the title because we lost by 1 point. So
Oh
probably that
no.
point.
You can't
but
blame me, please, no.
but
Yeah.
well done on that one. And yes, I recall that victory. In fact, we I played in that inter union. I was in the Western Province B team. We were allowed 2 teams in the A section. So
Oh,
so yeah. So but I'm glad that you that was your debut. Kimberly was very hot, I recall,
yes.
and we still is as well. Jesse, now that was 2014. Now, so your first SA Ladies Closed was 2015 in Cape Town. Would that be correct at the Lady Hamilton?
Um, was it 2015? I thought it was beginning of 2014.
Yeah, the
Fountains
SA
Hotel.
Closed. Yeah,
Yes.
the Lady yeah. So that was also one of the tournaments where you started to come into senior women's chess as well. What did you think of the tournament quality at that time?
Oh my goodness. I don't think anything lived up to that tournament. It was the most amazing for me because I remember there was free accommodation for the A section players and maybe discounts as well for whoever accompanied those players. And the food was amazing and everything was just kind of central. It was the middle of Cape Town.
Mm,
And it was also my first experience kind of being around the top uh, not only open players but female players in South Africa. And it was kind of my introduction to not just junior chess, but chess as a whole in South Africa. And I was in awe the entire time. I mean, the events to follow as well. Whenever I saw a top South African player, I was just looking up to them, saying, I want to be like them. When I grow up, kind of vibe. I was 17 at the time, or I think I was 16, turning 17, and for me, it was my first time seeing Denise. It was my first time seeing Anzel. And I think that was also the event I first met Rebecca. And uh, I didn't, I mean, it didn't even cross my mind, of course, that years later we'd be working together. So that event
sure.
for me was the best South African event I had ever attended. And the quality of the event was amazing. The venue was amazing. I would love to have an event like that again, of course. I think it was 2 years later, 2015. The event was also held somewhere central in a hotel, but we
Yeah,
had to pay
yeah,
our way. I almost wasn't able to participate because of the costs. I mean, South
yeah.
African events can get quite pricey. And
Yes.
I was still in school or university at the time, and my mom was always, really, really eager to get us there. So it was really nice, of course. Um, yeah.
No, but I'm glad that those are important recollections because what it sounds like is that you started on that pathway and by having that early exposure, you were able to participate in those essay close. But Jesse, I've got a question because I recall that you traveled to Mauritius and also won the zonals in Mauritius in that regard. And a friend of ours is watching the show. His name is Patrick Lee Ying. And Patrick asked me yesterday, um, did the Mauritius tournament assist your chess development, in your opinion?
I remember Patrick. I remember meeting him. Yes. Um, 2016 was a really big year for me. I got my WIM title, and that really opened a lot of doors for uh, tournaments. So uh, I believe the higher your title, the more kind of privileges or conditions you get in abroad tournaments. So you get that
Sure.
personal rights for African individuals. It just looks shiny as well, kind of next to your name in a way.
Yeah.
So it definitely helped my progress with chess in general, and also just I think it pushed me. It gave me the push I needed. Yeah.
Very, very important one. Now, Jesse, what I've noticed is that when you came back from that tournament, in your next essay close in 2017, that was then the first one that you won here in Cape Town in 2017.
Yes, it is.
And what did you ascribe? Was it more study? What did you do differently as your chess strength was increasing? Of course, not giving away your secrets, but just generally, what were you sort of looking at to as you improved?
It was a good couple of years ago. I remember putting a lot of effort into my chess in my senior year of high school. So I was in grade 12, matric. And that's probably not the year you want to put the most effort into your chess because you have your studies to focus on.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of my exams I was studying the night before. I remember having a specific great relationship with my accounting teacher who caught me doing tactics a lot of the time in class and obviously just took my stuff away from me. So tactics are definitely something I worked on in class. Also, when I was home, it's just the easiest thing. You could be watching television and doing tactics at the same time.
Yeah.
But there were some books that I read as well. I was doing Capablanca's Endgames. I can't remember the book's title specifically, but I remember
Yeah.
reading that book and it was one of my favorites. I would have a bowl of popcorn, a cup of coffee, and a chess set, and that would be kind of my evening, sort of. And there was also a French book I really loved by Wolfgang Ullmann, Winning with the French. I read that
Yep.
book a few times over the last couple of years. But okay,
Yeah.
I've drifted a little bit away from the French and focused more on other openings.
Yeah.
But since last year, January, my life sort of shifted solely towards chess. I was coaching. I've been coaching since 2015, and I've been coaching a lot more ever since. I've been compiling my own sort of material to coach, and nothing that I've put out there, but I had my chess academy, and ever since COVID, everything's been online, but also with Twitch, been streaming a lot, and my life's been revolving around chess. So hopefully that's helped with chess fitness, the stamina, because I got really tired during the event, but maybe not as tired as other players. Yeah.
No, Jesse, thanks for sharing that. And you've actually touched on one of my other questions because I was going to ask which books you read, and you mentioned Capablanca. Of course, anything with Capablanca will certainly improve. And Wolfgang Ullmann was, of course, one of the contemporaries of Bobby Fischer. And if you look at 60 Memorable Games, you'll
Yes, I
actually
was going to mention that. I have that book and I love that book. I do read it still. I check it out. I love the chapter titles are quite amusing.
Yep.
And of course, the
Yep.
introductions of each chapter as well. I really love that sort of humor that authors bring to books like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, in fact, that was always one of I remember the Jesse in the Fisher book. He in the first round he plays James T. Sherwin, and Sherwin moves Rook B8, and then he says Sherwin moves with his pinky. So it was one of those
With
funny
his
things
pinky,
that
yes, it was like this. He was moving, and I
yeah.
think there was some like psychology going on as well in that game. I can't remember specifically, but it
No,
ended. Yeah,
absolutely. No,
yeah.
it's James T. Sherwood, and then of course the other two things that always struck me, Jesse, about the 60 Memorable Games was slaying the dragon when he beat Larson with H4, H5, and then of course he actually had a nice comment about Tigran Petrosian to say that Petrosian had a good position, and when you look again, he even has a better position. So nice.
Yeah.
Nice respect there on that side. So Jesse, coming now, we've sort of heard you won 2017's essay close, you won the 2019 essay close as well. And when I was preparing for the show this week, I realized that you've now won the essay close twice. You've also won a zonal, and you've won the continental championship. So actually, the next thing is the world championship. Jesse, what are your thoughts?
I have a lot of thoughts revolving around the World Championship because I believe this year is the first year they've incorporated the Women's World Cup. And to be honest, it would make my life to participate in such an event. I know with the new FIDE president, Akadi, he's wanting to really help women's chess and bring a lot of the open events to women's chess as well. I know it'll be the first time having the women's candidates event. It'll be the first time having the World Cup, like I mentioned. But in 2018, November, I played in my first ever Women's World Championship. In 2017, I qualified by coming third in the African individuals, and it was held in Khanty-Mansisk, Russia. And it was quite tricky getting there on my own. I think it was also my first time being able to bring my mom with on an international trip. It was her first experience with snow that made my life. But for an event like that, I believe a female player in Africa has never reached round two. I know that Mona Khaled has come pretty close. She won her first or second game against, I can't remember, was it Mozichuk? I don't really know the exact player she played against, but I remember she won one game in the classical, and then in the rapid she won a game, and in the blitz she lost both, but she got really close. She got really close getting to the second round. So I would love to break some records maybe and be the first African female player to reach round two. And beyond that, I think with our Olympiad team, I believe we do have a chance to take a strong team with to Olympiad and even be the first South African team to ever walk up on stage and claim a medal in, even if it's a category prize. I think it's definitely possible.
No, you're absolutely right there. And of course, Jesse, just listening to those aspirations on that side, it would certainly be great if one of our African female players could get to round two. And in fact, we also know that in the open section, also very difficult to qualify. We know we've got Armin and Adli that normally gets to round two as well. But I think in the women's section, that would certainly be something. And just to tell you that I've actually traveled to Khanty-Mansisk myself, and I know that it's like a 3.5 hours from Moscow to the east, and there's a second airport. So yeah, you got to know your stuff on that side. And were you able to tour a bit in Khanty-Mansisk to see the old mammoths that they have standing around there?
They have live mammoths, yes. I've even gotten a chance to ride one of them. It was really quite an experience. No, unfortunately, I think while we were in Khanty-Mansisk, the furthest we were able to go was like some local restaurant down the road from the hotel. It was incredibly cold. We wanted to tour a little bit in Moscow, but just getting out of the airport would have been such a schlep. I would love to go back there, but we only got to spend a couple of days and experience the snow a little bit. And that was it, unfortunately. But I'd love to sightsee in future. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure, Jesse, if I'm not mistaken, is the Olympiad not in Moscow next year in July?
I believe so. I'm really excited to go. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm sure that would be great, because the last time the Olympiad was in Moscow was in '94, Jesse, and I'm not sure, it was a few years before you were born, but I actually played in that Olympiad.
Okay. Yes.
As well.
Maybe 3 years before I was born. Yeah.
So no, it's a great experience. If you do get a chance to go and play in Moscow, please take the opportunity and even enjoy the chess, but also just to enjoy Moscow as well. Jesse, I've got a few more questions for you, but I'm going to first allow Calvin to just ask to read some questions from the viewers, and you can respond to that. But thanks for engaging with me. Calvin, over to you.
Okay, guys. Yeah, so let's see. We've got a couple of questions in the chat. There's already some interesting stuff we've heard this evening. Let's see. First question, Jesse, I don't know how good you are with reading the chat. You must be quite an expert with that already, but I need to.
I've been reading.
So, okay, anyway, so thanks everybody for throwing in some questions. Let's see. Our first question is from Gian Brave. Gian Brave asks, Jesse, what's your classical rating now on FIDE?
So I went into the tournament with 1824 rating, and I gained 49 rating points while I was there. So some high 1800 now, at least.
Yes,
proudly.
I think any tournament where you score about 40 plus is an excellent achievement, let alone the title. So excellent stuff. Okay, and then let's see from Omogolonkwe. The question is, Jesse, your games, do you follow Susan Polgar maybe?
I've actually had the it was an awesome opportunity to meet Susan at the World Olympiad in 2016. And 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to work with Judith Polgar on her world event, Chess Connects Us. And I was writing some stuff for her website, which was really cool. And I also got her book, Judith Polgar. I think it was Beating Fisher's Record or something like that. I haven't had an opportunity to read it yet, but it's sitting on my shelf, and I'm more of like, oh, that's a cool book. I'm gonna get it, but read it like 5 years later, you know. So it's got a brew on the shelf a little.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Jesse. I can tell you I've got endless books I haven't read yet, so I know what you're talking
Mhm.
about.
Okay.
Anyways, we've got a question from ML. I believe that's Mark Lewis. Welcome, Mark. Mark says, what is the plan to get your rating, to get your title ratified, Jesse?
It's a very good question, and something I've been thinking a lot about. Of course, I'm going to need to plan my trips. There's no events scheduled in Port Elizabeth, so I know for a fact that my next tournament will have to be outside of PE. In August, at least, there is a FIDE event organized in August in the West Coast, I believe, in Mykonos. That's a resort or something like that in Mykonos. And to celebrate Women's Month 2 years ago, I went there and I was giving a motivational speech. I was playing in a simul and that sort of stuff, involved in activities trying to promote female chess and stuff like that. And I played in a tournament there, and I believe they're hosting the event again in the West Coast. But as soon as the details are readily available, I'll be happy to share it with you. Really excited to play in that event, and then hopefully some others later on. Maybe at the end of the year, I'll have the opportunity to travel. But again, with COVID, it's very difficult to plan. Yeah, I hope to play some more tournaments.
Okay, cool. Yes, we'll definitely be backing you so that you can get to that magical number. So yeah, it is difficult, guys, to plan your tournaments. It's definitely not the easiest thing to do nowadays, but all the best with that. So we've got a couple of statements from the viewers, and then we've got, I think, one more question. Then I'll hand it over back to Dr. Bouah. But a couple of nice statements here we've got from Mark, also saying, I'm glad to see your progress and would like to see you do well on the international scene now that you have conquered Africa. Thanks, Mark. And Sean Wallenberg in the house as well. Sean saying, just a comment, well, you did grow up and you have surpassed them. Jesse, South Africa is so very proud of you. You are a lovely ambassador of us out there. Keep going, whoop whoop. Get that rating
Thank
to the
you.
moon. So thanks, Sean. And Leighton Boy saying, hi guys, Dr. Bouah, CK. Hey Jesse, congratulations once again on your prestigious achievement. And then just before we welcome to Hibernator as well. Hibernator says, congratulations, Jesse. Well done. I'm sure you can reach even higher after claiming the 2020 African Championships. And then where's my question? Here's my question. King also says, well done. Congrats.
Thank you.
And Mish says, does playing against players with a higher rating come with some sort of an intimidation factor? In example, playing against Wafa Shahinda, who was 2145 in the African Champs. So that's the
Of course, yeah, facing someone with a higher rating than you is somewhat intimidating. No matter how much you try to ignore it, it's still a fact that they're higher rated than you. And to be honest, playing against someone like Shaihanda Wafa, I've played her many times before, and not once have I been able to beat her. I played her for the first time in 2013. So we were 16 and 14, and I still remember the game very, very well. It was Sicilian, and she put the bishop on b4. She was playing black pieces, I was playing white pieces, and somehow she took my knight on c3, doubling my pawns. And I remember just downhill from there. So I just have these like flashbacks of like times I played her. And the last encounter I had was in 2017, where we played in the African individuals. And I believe that game, actually, we were both on 3 out of 3. And I had a +10 position against her. And in an endgame, I think I was just really low on time and I freaked out and I played the wrong move and it was a draw. And I was devastated. And ever since, I've been wanting revenge. And finally, I got this opportunity. So of course it was intimidating, but I tried to, like before the game, I was just trying to clear my head. I think in a case like that, where you're up against someone who has a lot more experience than you and probably does know a lot more than you you have to go in with the right mindset, because maybe they have a bad day, or maybe on that day you bring your best and you completely outplay them. So I was just trying to play solidly, and I wasn't trying anything fancy, because in a case like that, probably she will be much better at spotting, things that, of course, I'm missing. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that one, Jesse. Yeah, one should also play to your strengths. So I think you handled the situation quite nicely. And maybe just one last question here that I can spot here that's quite cool. Then I'll hand over is from King Ulster. By the way, guys, if you do have more questions and I by chance missed it, you can just highlight your question as well by redeeming some points over there. I think it's very low points that you need. But anyways, King Ulster says for Jesse, did your tournament unfold as planned or was there improvisation needed?
I tried not to think of the end results of the tournament, during the event, because often if you're thinking about the whole tournament, like, oh my God, I have to win 5-6 games after this to win the tournament or something like that, it's gonna throw you off completely, and you're gonna worry about things you shouldn't be worrying about during the game. So I took it game by game, and it wasn't my plan to place anywhere, because I think that would have messed with my psyche. Rather, I wanted to, at the end, at least gain some rating, but also I wanted to play the best chess I could. Whenever I was playing on a live board, I knew there were quite a few people watching, and I tried not to think about that, because of course there's always people who are supporting you, but unfortunately there are also people who want to see you fall, and I don't like focusing on that at all. So like I said, I just want to go in with a clear head, or clear my headspace, and just take it game by game.
Okay, guys, I think that's some great advice over there. So take some notes if you're planning on playing some tough events. And yeah, thanks for that one, Jesse. I'm gonna hand over to you, Dr. Bouah, and I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you very much, Calvin. So no, thanks. So Jesse, you can see a lot of people follow the tournaments and they're checking the results and everything. So thanks for that, Jesse. I'm going to ask you if you who of the world champions or other senior grandmasters around the world, alive or not, do you or did you admire their games? You spoke about Fischer and Capablanca, but name me the top 3 that you admire a lot, men or women, doesn't matter.
Of course, I'm going to choose the fighting spirit of Judith Polgar's games. Huge
Sure.
fan. Yes. I would like to say Mikhail Tal, but maybe I haven't studied his games as much as I'd like to, because, well, he was an attacking player, of course, very tactical. And I believe he just played what the position demanded, no calculation or anything like that. I don't know, but it's nice to think about that. But maybe my admiration for the chess players are more coming from their personality traits and knowledge about the game rather than their play. So I would definitely say I admire Peter Svidler and his style of commentary. He gives, he's always kind of talking about the history of chess, or like his knowledge or stories. His storytelling is amazing. And I really, really admire a player who has good storytelling skills. So I like that. Yeah. So I would say those 3. Yeah.
No, I think, of course, Judith Polgar, probably the strongest woman player ever. I mean, having broken into that top 10. And then, and Mikhail Tal, I studied these games when I was probably just starting out, and I still remember some of the things that they would write there to say that you've got to take your opponent down a forest and only one player will come out, type of thing there that sounds like Tal.
Yes.
And then Swifler. I don't think there's anybody else who's won 8 Russian titles, Jesse. And I mean, That must just show the class of the man, and the fact that he's a cricket follower also, which is
Yes, he likes his
surprising.
cricket. Yeah.
He likes his cricket as well.
I heard. Yeah. But also,
So Jesse,
Dr. Bouah, your storytelling skills as well. I remember you were transporting a lot of the chess players between events and so on, and you'd always have these stories to tell. And I just, like, I don't know how your brain is that big to remember all these things, and I'm just trying to absorb, you know? Yeah.
no, thanks, Jesse. It's maybe it's just I've been around too long, but no, thanks, Jesse. And Jesse, when you look back now, what would you tell if I should ask? What would you want to say to younger players for them to improve? What should they avoid, and how should they go about improving? Because is it only playing? Is it studying a bit? Or what balance should you give to them?
Especially when coaching, I get this question a lot. And I think as a player wanting to improve, not rapidly, but just, you know, stop blundering, for instance, when playing some Blitz games online. Okay, first of all, Blitz isn't the greatest if you want to improve. Rapid is much better. But also tactics. I think the first thing I push onto my students is just a lot of tactics. And also when you're playing online, it's not a matter of playing a lot. It's a matter of like analyzing your game straight after you play a game. Because obviously, if you're not analyzing your games, you might be repeating the mistake over and over. So always take a look at your games with someone or alone, but don't look at it with an engine first. Look at it on your own, see what you can identify as weaknesses, and then look at it with an engine. Openings, I would say more the principles of an opening and the ideas in an opening are more important than memorizing. Because if you just set out to memorize different openings, you're not really going to understand the opening, because what if your opponent plays something different and now you're completely lost? So not lost as in the game, lost as in you don't know what to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, agreed. No, thanks for that, Jesse. I mean, I think it's an important point that you're making. The rapid is nice. A lot of players are playing a lot of online chess as well. So you know, some people are thinking they're improving, but actually they may not be improving, even though they're playing 1,000 games
Yeah.
over a month. And do you analyze your games quickly after an event, or do you still take time out just to recover? But what is your strategy?
During the tournaments, I try to analyze my games after playing, because I mean, there's a chance that my future opponents will check out the game, and I want to just quickly fix my mistakes. But after an event, I like to compile a chess-based folder of my games, and just whether I'm annotating them or not, I just like to keep them. Yeah, because often you'll find that maybe online, like in a website like ChessDB, ceases to exist, and suddenly all your games are gone. So it's nice to keep a chess-based folder of all these games. Yeah.
Well, Jesse, I must tell you that I'm still collecting some of my games, but I've managed to collect 1,800 tournament games thus far. So so hopefully we'll see you get to that number of games also soon as well. Jesse,
yeah, that's a lot.
A biased question from me.
Sure.
You've played in the Steinitz Open a number of times. Did you enjoy the Steinitz Open here in Cape Town? I think you've played it 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm. The last one wasn't so good, but the one before that I gained like 50 points. I was very happy. But the Steinitz events are usually really really strong. And I see a lot of up and coming juniors who obviously underrated, and they completely wipe the floor with me. So I think it's a strong event, and it's one I would definitely love to be invited to again and play in, of course.
No, I'm sure. I know the club is busy discussing when to have one this year. So lots of debate whether it's a hybrid and whether it's online or over the board. All of these debates, obviously, at the moment. But I think an important question that Mark Lewis posed, and it may be something that you must really think about carefully. Your tournament structure and how to get to that. Is the magic mark 2100, Jesse?
Yes, the magic mark is 2100, and then I will have WGM confirmed.
So have you? I know it's only been a week. So have you thought? Can you do it in a year? Can you do it in 2 years? What events are there possible, and all of those things? Because of course, I was thinking, and I was discussing this with Denise, that.
Mm.
You should actually go to Spain and play 2 or 3 tournaments. Try to just to stay in Europe for 2 or 3
Yeah.
months. Would
This
that
is
be an
literally
idea,
the
Dave?
plan. I hope so. But of
Okay.
course, reality stands in the way sometimes. Maybe at the end of the year, this is possible. But yeah, I'm already looking at some events to travel to. Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe the South African chess authorities must send a few of our ladies together to some tournaments, like the first Saturday tournament in Budapest, and they
Budapest, yeah.
even have one in Keskamet as well, which follows that immediately. But certainly, that is the best way to just get yourself in there, because otherwise in South Africa it will take you some time to get to those FIDE points. But I mean, we can just wish you well, Jesse, to get there as well. Now, Jesse, you've got some games that you're going to show us tonight. Is that correct?
I do have some games, yes.
Now, Jesse, before we go to the games, let's quickly check with Calvin if he still has 1 or 2 questions in the chat box before we go to the games. Calvin, over to you. Thanks, Jesse.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, I'm back. Yes, we're gonna get to the chessboard soon. Yeah, just say thanks everybody for the questions and for the new follows, and of course, lots of people congratulating in the chat. Apologies if I don't get to your name. It's virtually impossible to read all of them. I think it's yeah, it's easier for me in the chat than for Jesse usually, but I try to get to most of my people here in the chat. For instance, Patrick Lee said congrats, and also Llewellyn Jagels also said congratulations, and many more. So thanks so much, guys, in the chat. And of course, we have our new subscriber, Leighton Boyce, also thanks so much for the subscription. And Leighton has a question here. I think if I missed your questions, guys, yeah, you can highlight it again, like I said, but I think that's about it for now. We need to get to the chessboard. Leighton Boyce says, or asks rather, in the spirit of the game, which I've started following a lot more closely recently. Question to both of you, CK and Jesse. I'm sure Dr. Bouah can also weigh in over here. But who do you think is going to win the World Chess Championships later this year between Nepo and Carlsen? Rooting for anyone specific? Jesse, I think you can go ahead first.
Sure. I think Carlsen will win.
It's
as
emphatic.
only reason. Okay, yeah, I think he's a heavy favorite, but also Nepo has made some very interesting comments on Twitter that I don't particularly like. So maybe that's just me being biased, yes.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm actually not on Twitter, so I actually have to just check up on my Twitter friends there what they said. But I've heard Nepo also say some controversial things in the past. But okay.
You like the man bun, Calvin?
I can't say he inspired me, but it's not looking. It's not
you
looking
have a
too
man
bad.
bun.
Yeah, but I actually have hair on the side.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But anyways, yeah. So okay. I would also say Magnus is the obvious favorite, but I think Nepo will have some surprises in store in that matchup. Dr. Bouah, what's your thoughts on the match?
I actually followed his in the second round of the candidates, and I mean I like his play and his strength. Obviously, that last round against Dingley Ren, he was probably celebrating with the guys. But I often think, Calvin, that if the Russians give more, they can give a lot of top coaches, and then that sort of equalizes some of Carlsen's strength, because now you can have a whole team assisting you. And I often worry, Jesse, that the previous one was 12-12, with no wins really, and I don't want the world champion to win in the tie breaks by playing blitz. I want him to win some classical matches. So for me, I like Nepo. Whether you can win the world championship at your first attempt, that's another question. So Carlsen's still a favorite, but I do give Nepo maybe 30% chance, Calvin and Jesse.
All right, cool. Thanks, Dr. Bouah. So it's gonna be interesting, nevertheless. And I think we can switch over to the chessboard. King also saying Jesse went there, Calvin. Wahaha, the man bun hero. Okay, thanks, King Ulster. Thank you, thank you. Let's switch over to the chessboard. So, which game are we looking at first, Jesse?
We can take a look at the one against Lorita Mongo first.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you've got the
So-
white pieces over here. Which
Mhm.
you know which round this was, more or less? Or
Yeah, it was round 7. No,
okay,
Sure.
round 8. Round 8.
On 8. Yeah, the other one
Yeah,
was
the
on.
second round, second last round. Yes.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So any
The
back?
reason I chose this game, of course, I've played Lorita many times before, and I've always had a very favorable result against her. But during the game, I was faced with a very interesting moral issue,
Okay,
and I want to share that with everyone as well.
okay,
Go
cool.
on.
But yeah, we can start.
Yeah.
My preparation involved me obviously looking at her online games, and I realized that she plays the Caracan now and used to play the French, and somehow I wasn't okay in my mind. I was like, can she not play e5 or c5, please?
Okay.
I really wanted one of these moves, but anyway, so d4, d5, and I just went with my normal knight c3, taking, and here she decided to play knight to d7, and I briefly touched on this in my preparation, so I felt okay. Like going in, I wasn't supposed to be thinking about the end result, but already I was very comfortable with a draw. So it was okay. It wasn't like a must win situation.
Uh-huh.
So just taking, and that was okay here. C3, bishop to G4, and H3. So if she captures can you see my arrows?
Yes, we can see it
Okay,
clearly.
Yep,
perfect.
yep.
If she captures on F3, then I just take back with the queen.
You got a
And
lovely bishop pair and solid.
yeah, I have the bishop pair, and I could probably just castle and play like it's a normal game.
Uh-huh.
But here, after bishop to H5, I don't think she expected me to go with G4.
Okay.
This is all preparation, and knight to D7. So I was fine with this move because the normal way to go about this, I think, is just playing E6, or I'm not sure if queen A5 is also a move. I'm not so sure. But
After
knight
E6
D7 is very strange.
After E6, you probably go something like H4, try to intimidate the bishop or what?
Yeah, I was very worried about my king, maybe a little bit. So bishop G2.
Okay, okay, you're rather gonna go that
yes.
route. Okay.
Oh
I
wait,
see.
no. The line that I was looking at was actually bishop to E4. Bishop E4, F3,
Okay.
and bishop to D5. And now I can't remember what is a good move here. I don't know if we can activate the engine at all.
You should be able to.
Yeah,
but...
bishop F4. But this is where kind of my preparation stopped, I think.
Okay.
But
okay.
I always, but Jesse, I always wonder if the bishop is sort of, placed on D5, then pawn to E6 is always difficult because of pawn to C4.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, very true. Yeah. Yeah, that would have been a very interesting game, I think. So knight to D7, and I saw this as an opportunity to go into a think. So I was thinking quite a while, and I wasn't sure how to go about this, but I just felt like I had more space. So taking the bishop, and now I have the bishop pair, but also they haven't developed their bishop or haven't like made way for the bishop to develop. And I felt like, okay, I thought bishop G2 was actually good.
Yeah, okay. Sometimes
so
the
D5?
leeches, sometimes the leeches evaluation or is not always so
Yeah.
100%. And it doesn't seem like bishop
Okay.
G2 is horrible. But anyway,
Yeah,
looks
it
pretty
seems
standard.
natural, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty standard, yes.
Yeah.
E6 and bishop to F4, and I was just controlling these diagonals. I felt really comfortable in this position. Bishop to E7, and yeah, I was considering queen to B3. Not sure if it was better, but anyway, after queen B3, after queen B3, there's queen B6. And I don't know if I wanted to exchange queens. So I played queen to E2. Queen to A5. And I just castled here.
Sure.
And after castles, now it gets interesting because I didn't want to play b4 first because there was always like queen a3 or something funny.
Mm,
Okay.
mm.
So I wanted to play a4 and my next move was going to be b4 and b5.
B5. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So after queen d8,
Queenside pressure there.
yes, yes, rook to c8. And now I went ahead and played b5. I didn't know whether it was a good move because there's always captures, rook takes c3 and rook takes a7 and now b6. And I'm not sure. This is probably much better for white,
Mm.
but I feel like it's so like unclear for me to go forward. My 1800 brain is not big enough for this.
But
yeah.
I think, Jesse, I wanted to ask a question that it seems you have a spatial advantage. I wonder
Mhm.
if you couldn't just even continue to nurse that little advantage because
Mhm.
I mean, Calvin and Jesse, I was looking at sort of whether you're not queen b1, queen
Queen b1.
b2, queen b2, and just
Uh-huh.
pressurize the queen side with a5, a6 at some stage.
Yeah.
But I'm just giving these as ideas because
Okay.
you, of course, got a good spatial advantage.
Mm. I was thinking about this. I wanted to protect c3 first before playing b5, but this is coming so quick.
C4
Knight
square.
b6 and knight d5.
Uh-huh.
And I'm really worried about this for some reason because it just kind of stops my control of this diagonal. And I thought, okay, I have to seize the moment right now. And you know what stuck by me, Dr. Bouah? There's something that you said to me a couple years ago and has never left me. You said, forward ever, backward never. And unless you are forced back, like always move forward. And that's why I was thinking, you got to move forward here.
Yep. No. You're opening the diagonals and obviously,
Yeah.
Kelvin, opening diagonals allows the two bishops to come to life. So no doubt about that. But Jesse, forward ever, backward never is always a good slogan.
Yes.
I like it.
It's catchy. Yes. Okay. After b5, and now here is where the moral dilemma kind of starts, right?
Okay.
So she goes into a deep think, and I can see like the cogs are turning, the steam is coming out of her ears. I'm also in a deep think here. And I know whatever, there's a critical moment. Whatever she decides here is obviously going to decide, like what happens next. So anyway, she's calculating something. I know she wants to probably play knight to b6 or something. And then if I take, she'll take back with the pawn and so on. So I'm pretty sure knight b6 is the move here. But somehow in her mind, she thinks that knight b6 is already played.
Okay.
And she wants to capture her own pawn. So she touches b7.
Oh, wow.
She touches b7. And she realizes that, oh wait, her pawn is still on c6. This isn't the way.
Okay.
And
I think I
she looks
saw
at
this
me.
live. I think I saw this, Jesse, and I was wondering why would black play b6? Yeah. Okay, now it's making sense.
So she looks at me, I look at her, she's like, oh my God. Like, oh my gosh. She puts it back down. She doesn't say adjusting, nothing. She goes into another deep think, like 15 minutes. And she looks at me, she's like, I didn't mean to like touch the pawn. And I was like,
what, she said that?
She said that to me.
Ooh, okay.
She said it. She's like, I didn't mean to touch it. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
And then she looks at me again and she's like, do I have to move this pawn? I didn't mean to touch it. Okay. And then I look at her and I'm like, okay, you didn't say touch move. I don't know what to do. And then she's like, can I make another move?
Wow. Okay.
So then I sat back and I said to her, and I didn't say yes, I didn't say no. I said to her, if you make another move, at the end of the day, it's going to be your word against mine. So the arbiter is going to rule that you make another move anyway. So it's got to be a move that, I mean, you touched it. I know you touched it. So if you make the move, also we're playing for the championship here. If you win, I fall out. If I win, I'm in the running. You know what I mean? So I only mentioned half of those things, but I was like, it's up to you. And I think she was so frustrated by my response, she just kind of moved b6 like aggressively, and then that was it. But in my mind, the entire time she was in this deep think, I felt so bad. I just wanted to tell her, listen, it's fine, move anything. But if she plays a good move here, maybe I'm in trouble. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting story there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would probably not be as as nice as you were, Jesse. I was just saying, mate, you touched it. I'll be like a Ronian and Icaro. I don't know if you guys seen that clip. Ronian just looks at the
Oh,
arbiter like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
But
uh-huh.
okay, you said nobody saw, but
Nobody saw it. So that's why I said it's your word against mine.
I think next time
So,
in
yeah.
one of my games, if I mate someone, I'll have to say, oh, sorry, I didn't mean it, but okay, I mated you. And
Yeah,
that's a
no,
nice
in
one.
fact, but Jesse, I think look, it's obviously always going to be a difficult one, as you said, my word against your word type of thing. But you know,
Yeah.
chess players, I'd probably enforce it. I'd say, come on, you touched it, gotta
Yeah.
move it, So, but I mean, it's as you said, it's a difficult one. But I probably would have forced it to say you touched it, you got to move it, because I would
Yeah.
expect myself, if I touched it, live stuff, I got to move it. But yeah, a
Yeah,
difficult one,
I
but
th-
a,
I
a
think
good ethical question.
I
Good
think
ethical
I think
question.
hats off to your opponent as well for eventually sticking to that and actually pushing the B pawn, because I mean it's a
Yeah.
difficult thing to do. So yeah.
It is.
But
I mean, she
Lavita is
loses an
experienced.
exchange. Yeah.
Jesse
Mm.
Lavita has been playing a long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
1912. So you touch it, I think you got to
Yeah.
move.
Okay.
But
Sorry, Lavita. Tough one if
she's
you're
also
watching.
half moon belly, she's got a baby
Okay.
in her belly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, after B6 things just went smoothly, you
Okay.
say.
After b6, you lose an exchange. I mean, I'm taking the pawn, you have to move the knight, and I'm playing c7.
Mm-hmm.
If the queen goes to e8, I'm just playing this.
Okay.
So it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
All
Tough
right.
one,
So
but yeah, the rules are the rules.
I mean your prep came through there as well. You got the comfortable position, you got the bishop pair, so I mean you did what you
Mhm.
needed to do. A bit of
Yeah.
extra added luck, but not like you didn't deserve it. So yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just wanted to add the razzle dazzle story, that's all I wanted
Yeah,
to
that was the good stuff.
share that.
You think Calvin did forward ever, backward never won?
Yeah, there we go.
You know,
You gotta push him, baby. Yeah.
I stayed at Dr. Bouah's house for a while, but that's not the advice he gave me. He said, Calvin, don't leave the stove on. That's what he told me.
Oh.
So, yeah. I'm kidding, guys. Anyways,
Yeah,
Calvin, I
I'm
see Dr.
always
Queenie as a statement there
yeah.
in the chat room.
Welcome to Dr. Queenie. She says, I'm so glad you stood up for yourself after the touch move. You tried to be nice, but in the end, the rule is there for a reason. For a championship title, you must stand your ground. Okay, yeah. Thanks, Dr. Queenie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
31%.
King also throwing his stats over there, 31% for Nepo.
Nice.
Okay, thanks, King Ulster.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think while residing under Dr. Bouah's roof during the closed championship, I learned a lot. I picked up on a lot of the little things because I knew I was there alone. And, those evenings where you're kind of either sorting after your own dinner and so on, we were sitting around the kitchen table and there was always a chessboard. And we were having stories from Dr. Bouah, from Mabusela, from, every which one had a say. And I remember I was about to play a young junior in the next day and she was doing really well in the event. And Mabusela actually, I don't think he knew the pairing yet, but I knew I was playing against his student. And he said, yeah, Jesse, you have to play something else. Like, the young ones are very good at the opening preparation. And I was like, yeah, you probably focus on openings a lot with your students. He's like, yes, you must just play out of their preparation. Then they don't know what to do. And then I was like, okay, well, then I'm just gonna, she plays D4, I'm gonna play D6, and that's it. And I don't know what to do after that. And his small tip helped me beat his student that day. So he doesn't know that.
Wait,
And I've
okay.
been sitting
Thanks,
on that
Mabu.
for a long time. Thanks, Mabu.
Yeah, we'll have to thank Mabu again, yeah, for that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So the cool game, good prep, and what do we have next?
The big one.
Yes, so we
The big one.
have I think the best game I've ever had in my life, or maybe most important game, I don't know. But I'm very happy about this game. I played against Shahenda Wafa, and we actually traveled together to Khanty-Mansisk, Russia. So we went and looked for food outside of the hotel because the food at the hotel wasn't exactly good. So we went hunting for like pizza or something.
Okay.
But yeah, it was really nice to see her again and play against her. So we had a Sicilian.
And you say this was your first victory against her, Jessie?
My first victory against
Okay, what
her.
the
Yes.
time to get it? Okay.
Yes. So I prepared against the Sicilian here.
Okay.
All of this was prep. Okay, it was good. And here I expected the move knight to f6.
Uh-huh.
And because now I play bishop to g5 and
Back into the
b5. And,
Sveshnikov. Okay.
yeah, Sveshnikov. I think here, okay, there's knight d5, there's bishop takes. It depends what your flavor is, I suppose.
Yeah.
So anyway, she decided to go for bishop e7 here, and that just threw me off completely. And I decided to play knight d5 anyway. And I was like, okay, keep it simple, solid, satisfying, okay?
Sure.
And I was just trying to like, obviously just keep my calm, keep it cool. And yeah, I wanted to go after the bishop here. I was like, okay, it's a simple advantage. I just want the bishop. Give me the bishop, please. And we can go our separate ways, you know? So knight to f6, and I took the bishop. I took the knight actually. No, I wanted the, okay, it was later on that I got the bishop here. But here, I think taking the bishop is actually bad because of maybe delayed development and so on. So knight takes, bishop takes, and knight to c4. Now my plan was to play bishop to e3. Yeah, this is my plan. Something like this. And also just the d6 pawn, so bishop e7. I think the best move here for black, I'm not sure, is to take with the pawn here.
I mean, it looks like a Sveshnikov, but it's like a weird Sveshnikov because white didn't have to give up the bishop, so...
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I'm a
maybe
bit lost
here you're supposed to give the pawn up and just castle, maybe.
Maybe.
But
Yeah.
Jesse, but I actually like your taking with the G pawn because I mean the G pawn can quickly go to F5 actually because knight D4 doesn't come in with the tempo then.
Yeah, typical stuff in those type of positions. Yeah, maybe that was a better chance for her.
No, it's true. I think this is also a line though. If you take with the pawn, there's like G3 or something.
Okay.
Maybe because you go after this diagonal, okay, and if B5, then it's just weak for black as well. I don't know. Yeah, but it's interesting. It's nice to take a look at. So knight c4, bishop e7, and bishop e3, and I get what I want here because after b5, I get this knight to b6, and now I get the bishop, and I'm very happy because I have the bishop here. I can play c3, just courting off this knight. Can't go anywhere.
I mean, this is...
maybe the knight goes here.
Yeah, you're getting like everything here.
1 second. Jesse, there's a question, Calvin, from someone in the chat room, just asking Jesse, why did you not take the bishop on e7? They're just asking a direct question to you there in the chat room.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't mind answering. So if I take the bishop on e7, I think there's queen takes e7, and now black has 3 developed pieces and about to castle.
Yeah, and then
I have 1 developed piece, and it's on the side of the board.
Plus, black is threatening e4 on top of that, so you need to attend to that. So yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to play something like bishop d3, and this is maybe not the best square for the bishop because there's always knight b4 at some stage, I guess.
Yeah, bishop on f6 is way more passive, so not threatening much and so on. Thanks to all the new followers, by the way. Thanks, guys. Welcome, Chess Choppin and the rest. So yeah, so you...
Hey, Brapella as well is here.
Brapella in the house as well. Welcome.
Hello.
welcome, Brapella. But by the way, I was just gonna say, it's like after knight c8, rook c8, it's like a dream. Lyndon, I've never seen white play against the Sveshnikov and you have the bishop pair. So you're getting these, you're getting these ideal positions, Jesse, out of the opening, and I mean, it looks nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I'm very comfortable. I'm happy here. Happy living. Okay, castle. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying in the chat, Chess Choppin. I didn't mean you, the new follower, but welcome anyways. Okay, castle.
Yes, bishop d3 and knight to a5. So my idea was, of course, I saw this knight c4 move. I'll just play the bishop back, chase the knight away with something like b3, but I didn't want to weaken c3. So I was like, you know what? That's like a couple moves times problem, not now. So I played bishop to d3, castles, and then after knight c4, bishop c1. And I wasn't sure if it was good, but I played it anyway. Yeah, I felt it was okay.
No, it's a good move because you got to protect your advantage. I mean, there's no reason why you should just not cover b2 and your bishop. So I mean, it's in the old days, they used to play those moves like bishop to e1, you know, when the guys were attacking the bishop. So a good move there, Jesse. Retreating, but also just getting ready for b3 at some stage.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not the forwards over here that you want to see, Dr.
No,
Bouah. Okay. So I wanted to play b3, but it just felt so weakening for this pawn. So I played a4 instead. And just maybe getting this open file for the rook. I felt
Introducing the
like
rook.
the only problem here that I have is that the rook is not connected or in the game. So
Yeah.
maybe I just get the rook out this way. Maybe.
Cool.
I don't know. So g6, preparing probably f5 at some stage, and also preparing d5, because d5 is now possible if I take, rook takes, and there's no bishop takes h7 check.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
So d5 is very important for black, maybe. Taking, and I don't think the engine liked rook a7 very much, but I liked it.
It looks,
I liked
it
the
looks
look
like a
of it.
classical move. I mean, rook
It looks like a
a7,
good move.
it's typical stuff. Okay.
I want to
E7,
trade a
you
pair of
attack the
rooks.
bishop on e7. I mean, what more can be wrong with the move?
Yes, I want to trade a pair of rooks, and I know that she'll probably play rook b7 or rook d7, and I'm happy doing that with the bishop pair, and it'll ease up the position a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
So rook b7 takes, and now I had a really cool idea. Okay, hear me out.
Okay.
So I want to play b3, and the knight is forced to go back. I play b4, and if the knight goes back to c4, I will take the knight.
You gotta
So then
protect
I
the
give
passer.
the bishop pair. Yes, and I have a pass pawn on b4. So just to demonstrate something like this, I will take, and I have a pass pawn on b4. And I was actually going to maybe even plant my queen on a square like d5, because in this position, it's white to move and queen d5. Otherwise, black gets d5, and maybe it's better for black. I'm not sure. But I play queen d5 takes. I was looking at all of this, and my idea is I'm going to play something like bishop to e3, rook b1, and push my pawn.
Yeah. So
And also
maybe
now the pawns are locked on dark squares.
maybe black
Yeah.
won't have enough time for rook a8 and rook a3, and it's by the time you're running on the b file
Yes.
already. Okay.
Yeah, so if we have rook a8, bishop e3, rook a3, and now already I'm playing this move, because after takes I can just push, and this doesn't work. Oh, maybe no, it doesn't, because I can just go.
What about rook b3 though? Is rook b3 an
Rook
issue?
b3. Ah,
Before b5, Jesse. Before b.
yeah, maybe
Jesse,
I'm
before
going too quick.
b5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Maybe there's something for white.
You probably just need to consolidate. Yeah,
I
you probably
agree.
need to consolidate.
Yeah.
But you can
I was
time
even
it though.
considering this at some stage as well. So maybe when I develop the bishop,
Yeah,
I go
so-
bishop to h6. And now if rook to a3, I have rook to b1. And if they ever take here, then I can always play b5, rook b3, and rook a1.
It's a possibility, yeah. Okay.
Something like this. But I always have to watch out for back rank, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It
but
was
you know what?
an exciting prospect.
I would
Yeah.
even consider not playing queen d5 as another way to go.
Yeah,
It looks like you got
okay.
the passer. You could play
Yes.
queen e2 even.
So
You
maybe
could
I don't
play
have to
bishop
go too
e3.
quick. You're
Well,
right.
you
I
have
would have to
options
think about
with-
this a lot.
Yeah,
Yes.
but it still looks kind of nice for white here. Okay.
I think she was just afraid of this pass pawn. So after I played b3,
Yeah.
knight a5, and she
So-
played
so-
a knight back to
So can
c6, and I was
Jesse,
good.
can I
Yeah.
ask?
Is everything
now
okay?
I have another question. Instead of b3, I was wondering if you could go queen b3 for some reason. You know,
Queen
just to
b3?
develop and keep the pressure there. You've obviously got a little attack going there for just on c4. I'm just trying to get your two bishops to maximize them.
Yeah, I like it. I don't even think I considered this move. I think I was so afraid of d5 that I felt like I needed to act on it.
I like
But
it.
maybe d5 is not possible. Yeah, I really like queen b3.
I like, you know, queen e2 is one of these moves I play in my sleep usually. Queen e2 also looks decent besides queen b3. Just threatening
Is
b3 as
d5 possible after queen e2?
d5.
d5
Let's say takes.
takes.
Queen
Okay.
takes, yeah.
Queen takes, yeah.
Okay, you can throw in the d file. I guess I don't
Yeah,
want to allow
because
that. Yeah.
maybe queen b3 and d5 anyway. Does it work? I don't know.
I
Maybe
was
not,
thinking
because
pawn takes
um,
pawn and then bishop c2. if you want to contest the file there on D1. But I'm just giving some ideas because
yeah.
B5 is still a weakness.
Mm.
In fact, you don't need to take after Queen B3 pawn to D5. You don't need to take on D5, Jesse, because Bishop takes C4 would be the response if your pawn on E4 is attacked.
True.
Okay, but okay, lots of
like that.
options. Lots of options. Seems like white is always slightly better.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
okay,
I like
so
that idea. Thank you. Yeah, I really like this analysis. It's not often I get someone to analyze with, so I like this. Okay, so knight c6 was a mistake. I was expecting knight c4 at least to give me some chances, but b5 is weak, so I'll just put some pressure there. And I think she saw that she's losing b5, so she played d5. And now it maybe gets complicated because if it's tactical, then, well, it's definitely going to be tactical, then maybe I'm worse off. So I spent a lot of time here. So pawn takes, rook takes, and I just decided to attack the rook and put some pressure over here.
Sure.
makes
Getting
sense.
the bishop is on a good diagonal. Yeah.
Yeah. And now I wanted to develop my bishop. So I had something in my mind. I was like, what is, if I was black, what would I play? And this came to mind immediately. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? If Shahenda plays that, I always have queen a2. So let's play bishop h6. At least this is not a problem because I always have this move.
Okay.
But I do have to worry about it at some stage, I guess. Yeah. But this was just a moment I was like praying to all the gods in the world. I was like, please play f5. And she played f5.
Okay.
Yes. So now queen a2 just ends it all. Yeah.
Oh, the queen invades immediately.
So there's the diagonals.
And that's GG.
Yeah.
It's over.
Oof.
Yeah, it's GG.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I got really lucky. But probably instead of bishop h6, okay, bishop h6, but maybe over here, I was expecting queen c7 or queen b6 just to get out of the pin. Yeah.
But I mean, you're still having pressure with rook a1 and queen a2, and I would still be creating the pressure because that queen can't move away from b5.
Yes, exactly. It's nice to have that sort of pressure, and I have the two bishops as well, and my eyes on these two pawns. So I was really happy.
But Jesse, it's not you didn't get lucky. Bishop h6 was a long term. You're controlling the dark squares around that king. So bishop f8 is and you're actually tempting f5. So you were having some trickery there. You were tempting f5.
Yeah, I was like, please come at me, you know. It was a really nice game.
No, nice game.
I felt a little bad, of course, because I mean her facial expression was just, it wasn't great to see because I knew in that moment she like didn't expect this to happen, of course, and she was just so like angry with herself. I could see that.
I can. Okay, is this now after you played queen a2 check?
Yes, she didn't see queen a2, so she played f5 with like absolute confidence. I played queen a2 quickly, and she's like, "What?" And she's just like sitting like this the whole time.
Just show us queen a2 again, that position, Jesse, so that we can just and then queen a2. So I mean, there's nothing that can be interposed on that square, and so bishop h6 is the killer because it cuts off that f8 square immediately. There, Calvin.
Yeah, great stuff. Thanks to Brett Rock for subscribing as well. Thanks so much. And Jesse, I think, I mean, your opponent made a mistake, but you shouldn't take away from yourself as well. I mean, you put your opponent under pressure. B5 pawn is weak. Bishops are all over, and it's not easy to play for black as well. And guys, just to show, actually, I mean, I don't think Jesse won this tournament by accident. I mean, it's good. The two games you've shown, you've had excellent preparation. You got the positions that you wanted, and it's not against easier opponents. So this is two of your fierce rivals in the tournament. So and to hold everything together with all the pressure, it's not easy. So well done to you, Jesse. Well played.
Thank you. Thank you. No, screws. I didn't enjoy seeing the expression on her face, to be honest. And the reason I chose this game, sorry, I'm cutting
No, go ahead.
The reason I chose this game is because it's, I think, the only game where I didn't make any inaccuracies, and that for me is really big. It means that I have the the potential to play solid chess. So I'm happy.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I was
Yeah,
actually just gonna
yeah.
say, Jesse, or to Screws as well. I mean, you said that you didn't enjoy seeing the expression. A lot of other
Yeah.
people would. It's almost like Lyndon. It's like Jesse has this humbleness from like Wesley. So I mean, when Wesley beats
Mm.
Magnus, then he still apologizes to Magnus for beating him. So
Oh,
it's yeah, it's nice. So anyways, thanks to everybody in the chat. By the way, I've got one question here that someone highlighted, Jesse. Perhaps you could help. Since you've been streaming actually longer than I have, way longer. So GN Brave has highlighted a question that says, what should I start with? A computer or laptop? I want to Twitch. So I'm assuming
you
streaming.
want to touch?
So
Well, you gotta cater to what your budget allows. So for like an entire year, I was streaming, or maybe even more than a year, streaming using a laptop. And sometime, I think it was November, December, my laptop actually just gave in completely, and I had to get a new one. So I actually got this one over here. I have one next to me, and I started using that for a couple months, and we were actually able to save up and buy ourselves some PCs. So we're very, very privileged now to have the PCs. And of course, when we're traveling, we can stream using laptops. So it's been a long time coming, but we tried our best to, save up. Yeah.
okay, cool. So
Yeah.
both are possible.
Yeah.
Who was that asked that?
Brave, I
Yeah,
think.
GN Brave. Thanks for that, Jesse.
Yeah, but it also depends on what you're streaming. If you're streaming, this was actually a comment from a gamer. He's like, "What do you want to stream? If you're just streaming chess, a toaster will suffice." And I was like, "Oh, come on, you need more than a toaster."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
Okay.
think, Calvin, just from my side, Jesse, thank you very much for sharing these two games. Of course, there are still many other games that Calvin and I will probably come back to you in the next season, where we look at one or two Olympiad games and those things. Because of course, you're also an Olympiad player, having played in Azerbaijan as well as in Georgia. So there's quite a few things that we still need to chat about. But of course, we're just glad that you're able to share with the South African and the African public that is out here. And we also have subscribers from Europe that normally watches as well. So Jesse, thank you very much for setting out your time this evening. And we look forward to seeing you here in the Western Cape in a few months' time.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a huge honor.
Yes, also
Great.
just from
Calvin?
my side, Jesse, and just for closing, guys, thanks so much again, Jesse. WGM elect, soon to be WGM. Thanks for taking out your time. We all know Jesse is quite busy on #chessandchess.com as well. So it's great having you on the show. Shout out to Rebecca as well. I haven't seen Rebecca in a while, so you guys are doing a great job. And
Thank you.
congratulations once again, one last time. Everybody has been doing it, but congrats on the African women's chess title. And well done for representing South Africa so nicely or greatly. So
Thank you.
yeah, thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for the new subscribers and followers. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks to Dr. Bouah, of course, for organizing everything and getting us such latest champions and esteemed guests on the show. So once again, thanks to Dr. Bouah. Thanks to you, Jesse. Enjoy the rest of the evening, everyone.
You too. Yeah.
See you guys. Cheers.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jesse. Thanks, Calvin.
Bye-bye.
Thanks
Cheers,
very
bye.
much. See you later.
Sure.
Bye.